You are here, moving in a midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, rearranging destinies.
Romans 7 through 8 helps us to see that through Christ's death and resurrection, we have actually died to our old selves and are reborn as new creations, free from the power of sin and the constraints of the law. The Holy Spirit empowers us to live in God's love and strength rather than our own limitations. Paul assures us that nothing can separate us from God's love, and current struggles pale in comparison to the future glory awaiting us. You are not the same. You died with Christ. You actually died. Do you know why 3 days passed before Jesus was resurrected? I believe that if it had only been 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, people would have said Jesus was revived, that he didn't really die. But he died, and so did you. That being said, the law only pertains to the living. I know some of us love the 10 Commandments, but that's old news. No matter how good, how moral, how worthy the law is or was, it no longer applies to you. When Christ and you died, he took that entire rule-dominated way of life down with him and left it in the tomb. When he and you arose, it was to live unshackled, a new life, no longer bound by sin, but walking in the liberty given by God. One of my friends used to say she could rationalize anything, could make wrong decisions, and sin seem right. That's why we needed the law. The law provided clear guidelines for right and wrong, teaching us to turn from evil and do good. But sin twists the commands into a temptation to do evil. For example, the command, "Don't do witchcraft," is often rationalized and reinterpreted as it's acceptable if it's entertaining. The law showed us our disregard for God's commandments. Death reigned as a result. Sometimes we know right and wrong, but struggle to do right because sin's power within us sabotages our efforts. Our good intentions often fade like New Year's resolutions. But the key is this: God has already, past tense, set us free from sin and death, giving us the power over sin. We now have our attention is transferred from ourself and our inability, our I can'ts, to God's he can. We look to what Jesus did. The person who focuses on themselves and their lack instead of on God ends up thinking more about self than God. God isn't pleased with our making excuses for why we can't instead of looking to him who can. Think of yourself as a new creature, alive to God and dead to sin. Picture that. Meditate on that. Not on your inability, but on God's ability. Is this new thing painful at times? Do we struggle battling ourselves? Does it bring about persecution at times as we transform and become different from the world and the culture around us? Yes, yes, yes. But this current suffering does not even compare to the glorious times ahead. Don't listen to the devil's demeaning talk against you. Jesus isn't condemning you. In fact, Jesus is right now in the presence of God sticking up for us. Paul himself ended Romans chapter 8 by letting us know that he is absolutely convinced that nothing living or dead, angelic or demonic, today or tomorrow, high or low, thinkable or unthinkable, absolutely nothing can get between us and God's love because of the way that Jesus, our Master, has embraced us.